So I am here. It's my last couple of days. Can you guys see me? It's my last couple of days in Pennsylvania. As many of you guys know, I live in England with my husband, Jason. So I just wanted to come on live and say, hello, how you doing? And plus, to talk about this subject. So hopefully I can get some people on here. I see there's like zero, and I told people I was going to be on. It took me a while to get on, so I apologize about that. But we got a good subject for you guys tonight. This is about why the modern woman has destroyed dating. Hey Shay, hi, the modern woman has destroyed dating. Now before I say anything, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. Hey Bella, I'm the admin for the Laws of Enchantress program. I am the admin for Twin Flame Coaching and Enchantress Coaching. Since 2018, we've had over 41 amazing Black women get married, get healed, get whole, and have good, healthy, happy relationships. I am a traditionalist. I believe in family, traditional gender roles, and I believe in traditionalism. I'm a big traditionalist. So I want to talk about this subject, and I'm just trying to get my Facebook up because I promised I would put the video on Facebook. This is going to be a good conversation, so get ready, because you guys know I don't play with my conversations. Hello to everyone. And I have an Enchantress program that has been doing so amazing. I've been so blessed. When I made the Enchantress program, I did not think I'll be still doing it almost 3 years later. But the program has been doing so well, and I just want to talk about a couple of things. Good to see you girls. I'm so excited to see people. But let me just post it on my page, okay? That's where I have the most people. Just trying to post it there, okay? And I got it. So the first thing I want to talk about is, relationships. And modern relationships are having a lot of challenges, to be very nice about it. And it's almost like men versus women and women versus men. We're having a lot of challenges. And the constant thing I keep hearing is that men want women who are traditional, men want women who are feminine, men want women who are supportive, who are nurturing, men want women who are soft, okay? And they want women to allow them to lead. They want women to have them be the protector. Men are wired by biology to be the provider, and men want to, lead, protector, provider, leader. And women want men who can provide. Women want men who make them feel safe. Women want men who make them feel stable. Women want men who make them feel secure. So it kind of like fits in like a puzzle, right? The only thing missing from the equation, and I know some of you are going to be like, I don't care about this, but you need to care about this, because what's happening is that both men and women are trying to solve a math problem without the equation, without the equation. And this is why so many men and so many women are having issues. Now, what I'm about to say might cause some of you to turn the video off and say, bump that ish, okay? Hello? But the truth is the truth. When a woman says she wants a man who's a protector, leader, and provider, these are biblical things. They don't come from Netflix and chill. They don't come from Sex and the City. They don't come from Pum Pum and Punani, okay? These are ancient Judeo-Christian virtues. But you guys hate religion, hate Christianity, hate faith. You're not Christian, yet you want the fruits, but you don't want the labor. You want the fruits, but you don't want the roots. And without the roots, what happens? You're gonna rot. And many of us are rotting away. Many of us are rotting away because you don't want to have this conversation. You don't want to fight. You want to bicker. You don't have this conversation. It's the same conversation I tell to women. You're asking for a God-led man. And this is why so many women are scared to submit, because you don't understand submission. There is an order of submission. You got God, who's over the head of man, and when the man submits to God, the woman submits to him because it's a divine authority. Now, you might say, I'm not religious, I'm not Christian, this conversation is not for me, I'm going to disconnect from this YouTube. Then you don't want the truth. The truth is those virtues are ancient. They come from Christian Judeo things. And there's a reason why when you remove the faith out of it, look at the chaos we have. Look at the calamity we have. You have women, especially if you're African American. I focus my coaching practice on Black women. Why? Because we have special challenges other demographics of women just don't have. 80% of African American women in the United States of America are having children out of wedlock. That is a fact. Only 23% of all Black women will be getting married. That is a fact. I know people like to chop up statistics and twist it and turn it so it gets in their favor. These are actually from the Pew Research. This is neutral science. Over 80% of Black women are the heads of their households. That is a fact. And 2/3 are doing it alone. That is a fact. These are not opinions. These are facts. And you have to accept these facts for what they are. Now, not to be rude to women, I just want to be bluntly honest. Men have not changed that much in the past 1,000, 2,000 years, whatever you want to say. Men have not really changed in what they want out of a relationship. It has not been a drastic change. Women, on the other hand, have been going through a lot of evolution back to back to back to back. And nobody has been doing checks and balances. Nobody has been doing reviews. Nobody has been giving any type of information. We're just changing, changing, changing. Sometimes it doesn't even make sense what we're doing. If you don't like the current state of what's happening in relationships, if you don't like what's happening in modern times, a simple solution is, okay, who did the most changing? If you did a long time math problem and 1 + 1 is 2, and 1 + 1 always equals 2, but all of a sudden somebody throws in a 4 and a 5, you're not going to get the same answer. And I'm not trying to blame women. We're trying to find solutions. But the fact is, we are the common denominator in terms of making drastic changes. We did a lot of changes without any checks and balance. We did a lot of changes without without us actually checking to see the damage it does. And women are now upset because of the chaos is there. Now, you might be watching this and saying, you can't blame women. You can't. I'm here to talk to women. I'm here to talk to you. I'm not here to talk to men. Men are more than welcome to listen to this conversation. But as a woman, what can you do to have a better relationship? As a woman, what can you do to empower yourself? As a woman, what can you do? I'm not here to take tit for tat. I'm here to talk to you. And the number one thing you have to understand, what we're doing right now does not work. If you're here to drag men, get mad at men, that's not going to work. I had my Facebook page deleted, right? I'm not trying to throw shade. And there was a lot of people I blocked, a lot of people I unfollowed. And because I got a new Facebook page, I'm able to see everybody. And the same women who are doing the same complaining, the same mantra, I was in shock. They are still in the same place that I left them in 2018. And you have a lot of coaches. I'm a certified life coach. I'm a certified law of attraction practitioner. I'm a mental health advocate. I have several certifications in those things. And the same women who were angry, pissed off, and all these things, now they're coming back and they're in the same place. Because it's about solutions. You have to it's this common sense. If the women are making a lot of drastic changes, it's us. And you might get pissed off and say, that's crap. Listen, you are the sacred gateway. You are the sacred gatekeeper. If a guy is a jerk, don't entertain these jerks. If a guy wants sex and all he wants is sex, don't entertain these men. Once you start to entertain them, you become part of the problem. What we do too much, we pivot. We don't like to take accountability. We pivot. We don't like to take accountability. I'm talking to you. And as a traditional woman, I'm here to tell you the virtues that you're lusting after, the type of life you're desiring, the life that's going to make you happy is not the modern life. I'm not trying to throw shade, but recently we had a lot of upheaval in the hypergamy world, a lot of upheaval in the level up world. There's a lot of facades out there tricking women, especially black women, and they're brainwashing you on which virtues to look out for. You're confusing a high earning man with a high level man. Some of you have no idea that the most important virtues are integrity, faith, tradition, culture, heart, respect, and honor. All the money in the world don't mean nothing if the man is absent of those things. You could ask Ciara. I think Future is very rich, but Future is a high earning man, not a high value man. And you're not learning as a woman what to value. You got the mainstream, extreme feminists who are telling you things out of anger. They're angry, they're rejected. If you're unhappy with what's going on, we need a revolution. We need a revolution of women to change what's happening. Because if you don't change it, it's only going to get worse. You cannot be a man at his game. Men are becoming aware of the cheesy lines that you're saying. Secure the bag, high level man, hypergamy. I hate all these acronyms. I hate all these words because they're so fictitious. They're just trigger coaching. You know what a trigger coach is? They sit down, they think about how to trigger people, how to anger people. They don't care if you take their shitty advice and you destroy your relationship. And unfortunately, you got shitty female coaches and you got shitty male coaches. And they're not basing it on mental health. They're not basing it on anything. And what's killing me is it the heck? Okay. What's killing me is that no one is talking about happiness. How do you go, like, nobody is talking about healthy relationships. Nobody is talking about mental wellness. It makes me almost crazy when I hear these things. Like, isn't having a healthy relationship important? Isn't having a happy relationship important? Isn't having a relationship that's fun important? But you're listening to people who are speaking out of anger. You're listening to women that got hurt because they played the wrong thing. And you're not going to beat a man at his game. The reason why so many of you are scared of submission, besides not being Christian, is that you're dealing with men you don't trust. You're dealing with men you don't trust. I hear women talking about using birth control and getting abortion, and I'm like, okay, cool. Then why are you with him in the first place? We're making dumb, overtly emotional decisions. You want to know exactly, Bella? That is 100% true. You want to know why we're in this crap of relation. You want to know why it took me so long and decent women so long? Because women don't want accountability. I know that dating can be hard. I know that men could be pigs. And that's why you as a woman have to make healthy boundaries. You as a woman have to hold yourself accountable for what you engage in. You as a woman have to get coaching and therapy so you can make the right choices. Every society on the face of this earth has always told women and protected women and held their virtue high. But you got the extreme feminists that are telling you you're in prison, you're hurting. Like, one of my favorite arguments ever is that if you submit to your husband, if you submit to your man, you're going to get abused, you're going to get used. If you depend on a man, it is the biggest crock of bleep I have ever heard. It is the biggest crock of crap I have heard. These are women speaking out of emotion and fear. Even statistics and data does not support the crap coming out of her mouth. Black women are the most abused women in America, and they're the least married. If marriage was a correlation to abuse, the more the woman get married, the more abuse she would have. So that's a lie. In fact, I hate to tell you ladies, a guy has more to lose when he marries the wrong woman. Most men don't get alimony. Most women don't pay child support. It happens, but not all too often. And somebody needs to have this conversation with you. Somebody needs to have this talk with you because no one's telling you the truth. Everybody wants to tell you what you want to hear. And the truth is, the truth is, men don't need you. Men want you. Men don't need you. Men desire you. Men don't need you. Men yearn for you. And we're taking away all those things that make men want us, yearn for us, and desire us. We're becoming like men, competitive like men. And I want to teach you, masculine energy doesn't mean just an aggressive woman. Masculine energy is an anti-patriarchy woman who thinks men is bad, marriage is bad, kids is bad, family is bad, marriage is a fairy tale, being a mom is a fairy tale. Everything about traditional family, the masculine woman rejects because she's using masculine energy to move through her life. Now, masculine energy is not emotional. Masculine energy is not even loud. Masculine energy is your intent. When I used to go to college, some of the most quiet women were the most masculine women because they were dating 17 guys at once, having sex with a whole bunch of guys at once, not having emotion, training themselves to be man-like, acting like men, emulating men, want to be sexual the same way men are. That's the truth. It's not the outside, it's their mental philosophy. And it's distorted. This is a very important conversation, probably the most important conversation you're going to hear on YouTube, because you have women who just want to trigger you. They're not full of solutions. All they want to do is trigger you. All they want to do is anger you. They're not full of solutions. They don't care if you coexist in harmony with your husband. They don't even care if you have a healthy relationship. Some of them are encouraging you to stay alone forever, be celibate forever with no solutions. They got their heart broken 20, 30 years ago. Even some of them are remarried and they're still angry. They're still venting. They're still unhealed. And they're not happy and they're pretending to be. When you're a happy woman, it's delicious. When you're a happy woman, there's a certain glow about you. There's a certain positivity. There's a certain nirvana about you. And they don't want to tell you the truth. The number one thing is traditionalism and faith-based go hand in hand. And I got to be honest with you. The black church, this video is going to get banned. The black church, the church of 4 chicken wings and pork fried rice, the church that's teaching you it's okay to get fat. Yes, I said it. It's okay to be unattractive. Yes, I said it. It's okay not to take care of your appearance. Yes, I said it. It's okay not to take care of your skin. Yes, I said it. The black church, the modern day black church, is probably, I gotta make sure you can see me. The modern day black church is probably it's probably responsible for more broken homes than anything. Because they're not teaching women how to be feminine. And it's biblical. They're not teaching women how to be loving. And it's biblical. They're not teaching women how to be housewives. It's in Titus 3:5. It is biblical. These are not things I'm pulling out of the air. They're not teaching you how to be nurturing. And they're not teaching the men how to be entrepreneurs. They're not teaching the men how to be providers and protectors. All I see in the black church is these mega churches, Megatron Optimus Prime churches, where you're all going to church wearing ripped jeans and sneakers. The pastor got a cool haircut. The pastor got on a leather jacket, looked like he's about to do a Michael Jackson Thriller video, and they get you all hyped, all excited. You come as you are. Girls got on leggings. I see cleavage. I see coochie lines. And that's the modern day church for the black community. They look like Madison Square Garden. One time I went to a mega church, I thought the Knicks were going to come out. I thought the Knicks were going to come out and start playing because these churches have turned into church entertainment. And they're no longer the foundation to teach women and men how to coexist in a traditional setting. Because men are not complicated, ladies. I know that the relationship can happen, but initially, they're not complicated. What men desire from women has not been changed for thousands of years. You go back to ancient times, you read ancient poems and hieroglyphics, men were always talking about softness and tenderness and beauty and grace and being demure. And these are all things modern day feminists have took a dump on. And I'm not here teaching you anything bad. If you are the one who made a whole bunch of changes and the situation is no longer resembling a good one, you gotta take a look at yourself. We have been exposed to the sexual revolution. We've been exposed to first, second, and third wave feminists. We've been exposed to birth control. We've been exposed to abortion. It's like, dude, what else are we going to get exposed to? We've been exposed to the Netflix and chill. And you got all these young women who are stuck in this extreme liberal experiment. Guys, you are part of the biggest experiment in history because never before in history have we completely got rid of traditional realms, traditional marriages, traditional courtship. And we're over here dying. We're dying on the field. The reason why women hate men so much is because they don't understand. You need a man. Any woman who says, I don't need a man, run away from her. You were literally created to be his helpmeet, which means you're there to help him, inspire him, nurture his masculinity. That is your best thing. Men are not shallow. When you say, okay, why do men love beautiful women? It's not because they're shallow. They're not shallow. That's the way they're biologically wired. I'm not saying you gotta be Halle Berry. I'm not Halle Berry, okay? And I'm married. I'm not Halle Berry. But every man wants a woman to a certain level that can nurture him, inspire him. They want a woman they can come home to. They don't want to come home and see He-Man and She-Ra, okay? Combating and fighting. But you're being taught that you don't got to take care of your looks. Get 5 degrees. There's nothing wrong with education. I have an education, nothing wrong with it. But my primary focus has always been my family, my prospective husband, caring for my husband, tending to my husband, being in love with my husband. It's not demeaning yourself. It's not being a pygmy. I said it before, and I'll say it again. There's 2 types of submission every single woman watching this video will do. I don't care if you're liberal, Democrat, I don't care if you're black or white, I don't care if you drink Coke or Pepsi, I don't care if you like Tiffany's versus Cartier, I don't care if you're a Benz girl or a BMW. There's 2 types of submission every woman watching this video will do. Negative submission, which I've talked about 100 times, and positive submission. As a woman, you need to accept that you're going to submit regardless. Stop the far extreme feminist crap. The reason we like getting flowers and teddy bears and notes and poems, the reason we like bragging to our friends what our boyfriends did and what our husbands did is because females thrive on receiving. You thrive on feeling. You thrive on feeling desired. So there's negative submission and there's positive submission. I don't care if you went to Harvard, Columbia, or Yale. I don't care if you went to community college. I don't care if you're 18, 19. I don't care if you're Russian, American, black, the projects. Every single woman watching this video, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not, you're going to do either negative submission or positive submission. And most of you, because you refuse to accept your natural femininity, most of you, because you're riding the extreme feminist bandwagon, you're getting hurt. Because once you understand that you are going to be doing either negative submission or positive submission, You're going to be proactive and empower yourself so you can be accountable and really make better choices. But when you deny that submission is real, when you deny that it's a fictitious thing for enslaved women, when you fight this is when you lose your power because you're going to submit, but you're going to submit subconsciously and you're going to make bad decisions. You're going to put yourself in high risk behavior. You're going to put yourself in danger. And that's what the feminists don't want to tell you. So let me give you some examples of what negative submission is. Having sex on the first date and wondering why he hasn't called you. Negative submission. Being with a guy who's disrespected you, but still sleeping with him. Negative submission. Going out on a date with a guy in his car, going back to his house, Netflix and chill. Negative submission. Negative submission. Dating a man for 2-3 years, then asking, what are we? Negative submission. Living with a guy before you get married. Negative submission. Begging a guy to marry you after you've been with him for 5-6 years and you're cooking and cleaning. Negative submission. Going to a restaurant that have crayons and coloring books and you don't have kids. Negative submission. Endless coffee dates because you don't have enough sense to get a regular date. Negative submission. Using your pum-pum as a passport. You know exactly what I mean. Having sex to get basic things because you don't want to work. Negative submission. Having sex to pay a light bill. Negative submission. Okay? Having sex and getting upset that he hasn't called you. He hasn't done nothing. You got pumped and dumped. Negative submission. These are all things that you are choosing to submit to because you refuse to understand how your feminine works. It's negative submission to have a baby with a guy before you get married. And now you're asking for marriage when he doesn't need to. You already gave him his bloodline, his legacy. He's good. Negative submission. Understand that you are going to submit positively or negatively. Not a smart woman who understands traditionalism. A smart woman who accepts gender roles. A smart woman, most likely a Christian woman, or some type of religious structure woman. Hey, Deb. A smart woman is going to say, I'm an emotional, beautiful creature. I'm very vulnerable to feelings. I want to have love and a healthy relationship. So right there, she's realizing her limitations. Because as women, we do have emotional limitations. That's why so many of us go to therapy and we're all complaining about narcissism because we don't acknowledge our limitations. And we walk off the edge and we get mad at everybody but ourselves. So positive submission is being courted for marriage. Positive submission is meeting his friends and family. Positive submission is saying yes to his engagement. Positive submission is giving birth to his first child as his wife. Positive submission is not having sex on the first date, second date, third date, or fourth date. It's not having sex for just having sex, okay? Positive submission, dressing modestly and not having to feel you gotta throw your boobs out there. Positive submission, acting like a lady. Yes, dressing like a lady. Yes, these things still matter. Positive submission, making sure that you're in a monogamous relationship, that you're not part of a sexual rotation. That's positive submission. You are going to submit. No woman wants to be the one night stand. No woman wants to be the pump and dump. No woman wants these things. But because we're in this extreme feminist mantra that has shamed you to be a woman, I don't understand how feminism is empowering. Not this modern day feminism. I'm not talking about the one where they gave you the right to vote, or they gave you the right to have a credit card, and they gave you the right to own a house in your name. I'm not talking about that feminism. But I don't understand this modern day third wave feminism that you claim is empowering you, because it's destroying you. It's actually causing mental illnesses. It's causing broken homes. It's ending relationships before they even start. You want to know why men cheat? Because you got loose pum pum Becky who can't keep her legs closed. If you're calling men dogs, who are the fleas on top of them? Because I tell you right now, I'm married, and There's women that message my husband on WhatsApp, and he has me in his profile picture as his wife. So you have to understand, the wild, promiscuous woman, you can't have both. You can't have two people doing the same thing at the same time. And also, the modern day woman has convinced you that being a homemaker is not work. I get so mad when I hear feminist women say, well, I want to work. What do you think homework is? What do you think housework is? What do you think is filling your house with love and energy? What do you think ambiance is? When you go to a four-star hotel, what do you think you're paying for? When you go to the Ritz-Carlton or the Plaza or whatever you want to call it, or the W in 14th Street, Union Square, you're paying all this money. You're paying for ambiance. You're paying for feeling. As a woman, that is your divine right to not just do mechanical errands, but to make your house a healing spiritual place. And we used to do this. We used to do this in the most trying of times, back in the 1940s, back in the 1950s, back in the 1960s, in the late 70s when stuff started to pop off back then. But I get so upset because we don't want to look at the solutions. We want to just keep having an endless blame game. We want to just keep fighting with one another. We want to keep doing spy versus spy, And it's not about who's right or wrong. It's about how can we fix this hot, flaming mess. Because ladies, this is not working. This is not working. I'm telling you, this is not working. And I love you, and I care about you, and I respect you, but I love you enough to tell you the truth. Yes, your looks do matter. You don't have to be Halle Berry, but you're doing hairstyles that don't look good on you. You're not taking care of your skin. You're not taking care of your body. You think that you can have four stomachs. You haven't seen your pum pum in 10, 12 years. You don't care about your health. You don't care about your fitness. You don't care about your appearance. You think as long as you have 10 degrees and you act like a man, you sound like a man. This is something that's a poison on Western women. And it's sad because this has not always been. And what I mean by not always been, my mother wasn't raised like that. My grandmother wasn't raised like that. We have hope for the future. I know right now it seems hopeless, but that's why the propaganda is so strong. It's not hopeless. That's why the propaganda is so constant. It's not hopeless. That's why the propaganda is so consistent. It's not hopeless. Less than 30, 40, 50 years ago, you had healthy families. Less than 30, 40, 50 years ago, you had healthy families. Everything wasn't perfect, but it was not 80% out of wedlock. Everything wasn't perfect, but black women weren't dying in childbirth worse than slavery. Everything wasn't perfect, but you didn't have black women getting married at only 23%. And this is for all women. Even white women are they're feeling the foot of feminism. I checked the white women out of wedlock rate. It used to be 2%. It is now 30% and climbing. You got people that don't even want to be with men telling you how to be with men. I said it. Pay attention. I can't say too much. You got people who don't want to even be with men telling you not to be with men, and you can't go in their community and tell them what to do with their men and their relationships. But a lot of times, people who don't even have interest in being with men want to tell you how to be with men and not to be with men. I learned that the hard way. Women, it's not that complicated. And the reason why these men are running around and acting amok is because you got loose pum pum patty and crazy Panani princesses going around. And we have to bring back traditionalism. This is not sustainable, ladies. The constant fighting, the constant bickering. This is not sustainable. And I'm not telling you anything to hurt you. I'm not calling you stupid. I'm not calling you dumb. I'm not saying you don't know what you're doing. But the facts are there. Men have not changed in the past 1,000, 2,000 years. You can find Greek ancient poetry. You can find ancient Egyptian poetry. Men have not changed that drastic. It has not been that severe. The only opposite thing is women. Well, more she? I'm actually going to answer that. That's a victim. That's playing victim. You know why? I want to tell you something very personal about my life. When I was living in Bushwick, my family came from Jamaica, and they were immigrants. And we were living in Brooklyn, Bushwick. I used to see people of the Jewish faith all the time, okay? I used to see people of the Jewish faith all the time. And they could be living in the heart of the hood. They could be living in the heart. And you guys, if you're from New York, like I'm from New York, you know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? Jewish people do not let anything sway their culture, okay? I don't care what they vote. And I have a book called The Jewish Phenomenon. I don't know where I put it. And it's talking about Jewish wealth. And I talk about it when I coach some people, how they build wealth. And Jewish people have one of the lowest divorce rates in the world. Some of the most stable marriages on the planet are Jewish. Please follow me. But for the most part, Jews vote 85% Democrat. 85%. They are not using, okay, thank you, Moishi. They are not using the excuse of politics to twerk on polls. They're not using the excuse of politics to have common sense. When you're about to have sex and you're having unprotected sex with a man who's not committed to you, a man who's not supporting you, providing you, a man who has not put a ring on your finger to make you a husband, you're not thinking about any politician. You're not thinking about Republican or Democrat. You're thinking about clapping cheeks. Don't lie to me. You're not thinking about political values. You're thinking about your selfish instant gratification because you have no more discipline. You're too hot in the pants. And you hang out with women who encourage and empower this toxic behavior. Don't sit here and tell me when you're laying on your back and he's about to get on top of you, you're thinking, yep, this is why I voted Democrat. No, or no. That's what you're thinking about. Clapping cheeks. I'm not here to play with you tonight. I'm not here to mess around with you tonight. Take responsibility. When I used to live in the hood, I used to see Muslim women, and I only see their eyes popping out. And they were not affected by our liberal crap. Okay? I used to see Muslim women in the heart of the hood with just their eyes popping out. And we over here with pom-pom shorts and bati riders, and they were unfazed by our slutness and our whoreness. So I don't want anybody here to blame any political party. It's not Donald Trump, it's not Biden, it's you. You want to be riding. That's your problem. It's not Trump or Biden, you want to be riding because you do not have discipline. You weren't raised with discipline, you weren't coached with discipline, you don't know how to make boundaries and borders. And when you make bad decisions, you want to blame everybody else but yourself. You got to take accountability and understand where feminism comes from. Feminism comes from women that were overprivileged. I'm not talking about the 1950s and 1960s. Please do not inbox me and talk about voting and this and that, please. Because no time in the history of humankind has there been more abuse of women than right now. Back in the 1800s, 1900s, you can walk down the street without worrying about getting raped. Now you have to worry because you took away those healthy boundaries. You said you don't need men. You don't want men. You don't want patriarchy. You don't want to feel safe. You don't want to feel protected. You can do it yourself. And now you are actually reaping what you have sowed, and you don't like what you're reaping. And instead of saying, I messed up, you're blaming everybody. Am I saying men are innocent? Absolutely not. But we are the gatekeepers. We are the sacred gateways. We are the havens. If men are so horrible, shit, there's a lot of babies being born to all the men that you hate. I don't understand how y'all having babies and these guys are messed up. What's going on? You sound kind of crazy. And I'm here to help you. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I would never have a baby out of wedlock. I don't know, probably the sex you guys are having is amazing. I don't know what kind of orgasm you're having that can actually convince you to go into labor for a man who is not giving you his last name. You got to take accountability. We're not here to drag men and use men as a cop out. Other coaches, that's what they tell you. Men are evil, men are bad. How are men bad? Who are the bad women laying down with bad men? You want to know how bad women are? Get married. You want to know how really bad women are? Get married to a good man. You want to know how really, really bad women are? Get married to a good looking man. And check his inbox. Women are savages. They have no more boundaries. They have no more morals. And men are the ones who used to rise to the occasion. They used to slay the dragon. They used to rescue the damsel in distress. They used to be the prince on the horse, and they want to come and rescue you and take you away and live in the castle. We're doing the real horrific fairy tale now. We're not making no boundaries. You blaming women. Do you know how many women? I'm a certified relationship coach. I'm a certified life coach. I'm a certified law of attraction coach. Do you know how many women I have coached and their husbands have been sleeping with their best friends or their family members or getting pregnant for people they know? Ladies, the lack of morality is it's causing casuals. It's causing people to die. And you don't want to take responsibility. You're here talking about feminism, and some of you can't even stand each other. Some of you can't even be nice to each other. Some of you can't even forgive each other, have empathy to each other. You think men are blind? You think they can't see how catty you are, how nasty you are, how passive aggressive you are? That's why so many men are bypassing you. Because men are looking at you. Where are you being feminine? Only to him? Where are you being soft to your fellow sister? Are you showing empathy, mental wellness, mental stability? Are you even happy? So these are the things that we have to talk about. Because if you don't talk about them, they're going to fester. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you have no responsibility. You have no accountability. Men are werewolves. Men are vampires. Men are bad. It's not like you're describing the scene of Twilight. And the worst thing is when you got married women, I don't care if she's married to white, black, Filipino, Asian, married women who are sitting here dragging men, question her marriage. Married women who are telling you men are bad, question that marriage deeply. You know how dogs be using their teeth? Mouth that person deeply when they tell you toxic things and they're supposed to be married. They're supposed to be happy. And they can't talk about being a good wife. They can't talk about being a good mother. They can only engage you in toxic, low vibrational, super negative conversations. And you fall for it. You're addicted to negativity. You love negativity. You love dragging men and dragging people. And you wonder why when you turn off the computer, you're single, alone, and unhappy. And it doesn't have to be that way. Because I'm not here to just stick up for men, but it's the truth. Men have not made drastic changes to what they want in women. I'll say it again. Men have not made drastic changes in what they want from women. If you go back to ancient times, you go back to medieval times, you go back to Christian, BC, AD, you go back to, men have been consistent in what they want from women. And it's women who decided they were so abused, so used, and so impoverished. Okay, I gotta change the whole script. I'm gonna take birth control so I don't have to worry about the losers I sleep with. I'm gonna get abortions because you know what? I can sleep with anybody and I can just get rid of the baby. I'm gonna become promiscuous because I wanna be like men and act like men and feel like men. All of these things have not been working out. Look to the left and look to the right and look in front of you. It's not working out. And someone who loves you has to tell you. Someone who cares about you has to tell you. Half of you guys are not even religious or spiritual, and not the Beyonce spiritual. I'm sorry. I'm talking about the spirituality you can share with your partner, share with your children. That's going to attract good men in your life, because the values you want are not coming from the modern beta male who wants to put on nail polish, who wants to get their eyebrows done with you, who wants to get matching petties and manis with you. And you might be laughing at this, but we got to take responsibility. And I want to tell women that the extreme third wave feminism is a merge of alternative lifestyle women, alternative lifestyle people who want to take away the traditional family. They want to replace it with their family. With their family. They want to take it away from you. They don't even want you to have gender. I was reading in England, there's over 1,000 genders. I'm like, what are you talking about? What? There's over 1,000 genders? Where does this exist in nature besides humans who want to change reality? Who want to change it's making me itch. Because you might think this is not a serious conversation. It's serious for all women. But when you got very sensitive demographics like black women, you're joking. I mean, Rihanna. Let's talk about Rihanna for a second. Rihanna is drop dead gorgeous. She's about to be a billionaire not too long from now, and she's rich. A woman as beautiful as Rihanna is so damaged, so hurt, that she comes out and says, before I turn 40, I want 3 to 4 kids, and I don't need a man. Now, I'm not here to drag single mothers, okay? I'm not here to drag single mothers, but I have never seen a woman as beautiful as Rihanna plan to be a single mother. Now, you might say, Connie, she went through things and she got abused, and her father, because people were giving me, she's almost rich. She's almost a billionaire. I coach women who got a fraction of her wealth, a fraction, and they go to therapy and they get help and they heal themselves and they believe in God and they go on to have wonderful lives and attract good partners. She's almost worth $1 billion. She was dating a billionaire. Stop making excuses. This woman has more wealth in her pinky than all of us have on this live right now, unless there's something I don't know about. So you have to understand that mental healing is necessary. Yes, some of us have mental, emotional damage, and it's perfectly normal. Most people are going to go through anxiety, depression, postpartum. Men have feelings, and men do that too. But I was shocked to see so many black women say, you don't need a father, you just need love. Really? Really? Can I even say what I want to say on YouTube anymore? Really? Do you guys read any studies from the Pew Research? Do you read any scientific? Do you read any research papers? It says African American men are 30% more to be homosexual. When? When did this happen? Are you guys understanding what you're doing to your bloodline and your gene? Do you understand what the hell you're doing as women? I was reading this paper. I'm like, why would they be? Because you guys don't want the father in the life. And you say, well, that's not true. Pick fathers who want to be fathers. Pick fathers who want to do gender reveals and actually look forward to being husbands. I understand breakups happen, relationships end. No one is perfect. But for Rihanna to set a precedent that it's okay to plan to be a single mother is dangerous. And you might say, she's a celebrity, but people, stop it, guys. I'm going to break this cell phone I'm talking on. Stop. I just can't stand stupidity. Why do you think companies pay celebrities millions of dollars to endorse products? Because our dumb selves will buy it. If LeBron James puts on a sneaker, you think it's going to make you as powerful as him. If Michael Jordan puts on a Jordan, why do you think they put celebrities' names on products? Because celebrities endorse things. Unfortunately, we are in a society where celebrities, if they talk about something, it sells out. I was looking at something from Meghan Markle, and it said that she had a pair of pregnancy jeans, maternity jeans, for $230. And because she was seeing them, everybody went and bought them. So please, please, for the love of Jesus, for my mental sanity, please stop telling me what celebrities do in the mainstream. It shouldn't affect us. In a perfect world, yes. But in our crazy instant gratification world, it does have an effect on us. And it shouldn't, but it does. So when Rihanna says these things, and she's featured in 17 newspapers across Europe, projecting the image of black women that you don't even understand. It's not just projecting an image, it's diminishing the role of a man. And you women are so unfair. Can you imagine if they made an incubator for men? If a man can take his stuff and your stuff and put it together and put it inside some type of Superman incubator. Can you imagine if a guy came on TV and said, I don't need a woman. I don't care about being with a woman. I can put the baby in the incubator. I can have 3, 4, 5 kids. I don't need a woman. Women are obsolete. Can you imagine how the outrage would be from the feminist community? Can you imagine? They'll be so mad. Oh my God, you said you don't need us and you're rejecting us. She literally diminished a man to just sperm. Please don't ban my video, YouTube. She just diminished a man to a penis. Please don't ban my video. And you guys are okay with this. And I want to ask a serious question on this live. I want to ask, and I'll answer questions. I've been coaching for 15 years. I've gotten over 41 black women happily married, and I coach all types of women. I'm certified like 7 times. If you're one of these women who say, marriage doesn't matter, love doesn't matter, men don't matter, babies don't matter, I don't care about getting married, marriage is not for me, marriage is not the goal for everyone. That's one of my favorite pet peeves. I love that one, okay? If you don't care about marriage and courtship and love, why should men? I'm trying to understand, because when I talk about these things, women get very defensive. My life is not about marriage. Marriage is not all about, okay, so if you don't care about these things, what exactly are you caring for? And why should men care about them if you don't care about them? If you say, I don't care about marriage, I don't care about settling down, I don't care about having children, I don't care about having a husband, I don't care about having a home, just what exactly are you expecting from the men that you date? Because you are setting the precedent. You are setting the boundaries. You are creating the boundaries. And I don't understand. And I'm not here to attack you. I totally understand that many of us haven't been raised and educated how to have a healthy marriage, how to be a good wife, how to be a traditional woman. I totally get that. That's why I have my program. Okay, I totally get it. But for those of us who are fully aware of these things, why do we continue doing damaging things? We talk about hypergamy, and I try to tell black women, first of all, hypergamy comes from the Indian caste system. It's like a black woman will hear something. Thank you, Raven. A black woman will hear something and see something and say, ooh, I want to do it. It's not food, it's your life. Hypergamy is from Indian people, from the Indian Hindu faith. And in the Indian Hindu faith, I talk about this all the time, they believe God is perfect. So God makes people in certain areas in life, and they believe you can't leave those areas. So if you're born poor, you got to stay poor. If you're born rich, you got to stay rich. They even have a section of Indians called the untouchables, where they're so low in poverty, no one can touch them. So in the Indian culture, please follow me, okay? In the Indian culture, they believe once you're born into a system, You stay in that system, and you only marry people amongst that system. Hypergamy now, even as I'm talking to you, is highly controversial in India because it's modern day liberal Indians who say, no, we want to intermarry through different castes. It's very controversial because some people believe it goes against the Hindu God. So it's all about poor women, poverty-stricken women, women who have no wealth, nothing to offer economically, marrying into higher realms. And when I heard this, I was like, wait a minute, why are we screaming this? Number one, we're not Indian, okay? Number two, why would you want to announce to the world that you have no worth, that you are broke, that you are lower level? You have to really understand what the hell it is you're saying, okay? And you have to understand that that doesn't match the Western world. It means nothing to the Western man. You're talking about a culture where money trumps looks. And I'm just telling you, even in the Indian culture, it's a different culture. So, for example, if a man has a lot of money, or not even a lot of money, he's just successful. Not even successful, he can take care of himself and wipe his own booty. Most men are not looking for financial equal partners. So, by you saying hypergamy, you're actually becoming masculine because you're using a man's way of measuring other men for yourself. I'll say it again. Men don't care about your money to that extent. They don't. Not real alpha men. And I'm not saying for you to be a bum and you can't afford to brush your teeth and wash your. I'm not saying that. You gotta have enough money and class to show up to the ball, like Cinderella. You gotta be your own fairy godmother. You gotta have enough stuff to get to the ball. I'll talk about broke women later. But men will never say, there's a beautiful girl who's working at McDonald's and she's drop dead gorgeous and she's sweet and she's soft and she's feminine. He's not going to say, I can't talk to her because she didn't go to Stanford and Yale. He's not going to say that. He's not going to say that. If he sees a woman that he thinks could be a great woman for him, he's going to approach her. End of the story. Now, women, on the other hand, women are different. A woman will see a man who's not that attractive, but if he can provide for her, protect for her, and some of us actually abuse this, we'll actually want to be with him. There's no amount of money that'll make a man talk to a very unattractive woman. And now attraction is different for everyone. That's the beauty. Attraction is different for everyone. Now, if the man looks like, no, Raven is different for women. I coach women right now, Raven, that have 4 degrees, 3 degrees. I even coach a black female architect. I was like, damn, this is amazing. But they're all single because they have put nothing into their softness, their feminine, their demure, their empathy, their kindness. They have no idea what it means to be even remotely feminine at all. I'm talking about they don't even wear makeup. They don't get their eyebrows done. No disrespect to some people, but natural hair does not mean you look like Blanca from Street Fighter. Arr, arr, arr. If you guys play video games, some of y'all walking around looking like Blanca. I have natural hair. My hair is not relaxed. I take care of it. Natural hair is not an excuse not to groom yourself. Exactly. You need money for yourself. I made it very clear. You need money for yourself. You gotta have enough money for yourself and feel good about yourself. But if you have to have sex so you can buy a cigarette, if you have to have sex just so you can pay rent in the projects, there's something happening there. You gotta take care of yourself because everything is energy. Everything is energy. Exactly. Everything. Thank you, Deb. Everything is energy. And if you're operating from a place of lack, men can smell your desperation a mile away. Stop thinking men are stupid. I know they put Homer Simpson on TV and Peter from Family Guy and American Dad and all these crazy shows, but men are not stupid. They're really not. If you're desperate, they can smell you a mile away. They'll have fun with you and they will put you back right where they found you. The gig is up. Just like Cinderella, she had to be her own fairy godmother. Okay? She had to get into that blue dress. She had to get into that pumpkin, remember? Bibbidi boppity boop, remember? She couldn't go to the ball looking like a hot mess. So you have to be your own fairy godmother. I'm not saying you have to have all the money in the world, but you gotta be able to show up to the ball. You gotta be able to smell good, look good. Men don't want too much. You don't have to have a Moschino dress. If you're a size 45, okay, if you look like Shaquille O'Neal with box braids, but you got on Versace, men don't care. But if you got a beautiful shape, a nice healthy BMI, and you present yourself well, you could be wearing a dress from Fashion Nova, as long as you don't look like a Fashion Hova. Because men don't want that either. Everything you've been taught is absolutely wrong. It's wrong. But of course, a guy doesn't want a woman that is basically bum level. Okay, exactly. Sheen. Men don't care. They don't care. But we are making, I mean, I was in a level up group years ago, and they were arguing about perfume and expensive bags and expensive hair and expensive nail, and everything was just so superficial. And I looked at the group and I'm like, nobody's getting married, nobody's getting engaged, nobody's making up. It's a bunch of very made up, passive aggressive, really unhappy, really just angry women. So, I mean, somebody gotta tell you the truth. And like I said, I'm not perfect, but I'll never come on this YouTube channel with no makeup, my hair looking a hot mess. I would never do that because I respect my viewers. But women have to be told the truth. And the truth is, 99% of the stuff you're hearing from extreme feminists has got to go. Whenever you take advice from somebody, always say, what is their agenda? Why is Connie speaking to me tonight? I am the admin of a Laws of Enchantress program. I sell a program. I sell my coaching. I believe in traditionalism, faith, and marriage. I'm successful at what I do. But it pains me to death to see women turn themselves into a pretzels. Men are wired to provide. That is how God made them. I'm Christian. You see my little Catholic stuff? I am Christian. I am Christian. God made you to provide. Women feel safe when they feel stable, secure, and protected. Everything fits together. Stop letting feminists tell you being a wife is not work. Stop letting feminists tell you being a homemaker is not work. Stop letting feminists tell you when a woman's in her natural element, she's also very, very resourceful. I know a lot of homemakers who are full-time homemakers, and they make a lot of passive income at home just by being feminine. I met this black woman, and I can't remember her name on Instagram, but I talked to her on Instagram, and she got pregnant with twins, and she was working in corporate, and her husband was like, listen, it's time to retire. Hello, it's time to retire, like you're having twins. All her friends were telling her, you're going to be in prison, and he's going to slave you, and what if he beats you up, and what if he mistreats you? This woman made $300,000 her first year home. She was vlogging being a black mom of twins. She was vlogging being a new mommy. I wish I could remember her handle. I'll put it up in the description. And I was like, wow, just being in her natural feminine energy, she was able to make $300,000 in a year, and she's gone now. She's making much more because now she is an ambassador and she's endorsing all these things. My whole point is, when you are where you're supposed to be, you will always be abundant. You will always be prosperous. And the most important thing is having a healthy, happy family, having a mentally well family. Not all this fictitious crap. There's balance in the world for a reason. God made balance for a reason. And the only thing I will say is that we left out the element of God. Now you might say, I'm not Christian, I'm not into religion. Then you can't want the stuff that God promised. Give it a chance. I'm not talking about the church of Popeye's chicken and 4 chicken wings and pork fried rice. I'm not talking about the hood church. I'm talking about structured faith. Because I, I have seen men so happy to be married. I get emotional. I've seen men go from, I would never get married, you must be kidding, or in relationships where they were not that happy, to literally overnight loving their wife, loving their home, because everything is the way it's supposed to be. She's greeting him at the door, she's serving him dinner. She's happy to do that. He kisses her. He holds her. He's looking at her with love in his eyes. She knows she's safe with him. She's warm with him. And it's not a fairy tale. What we're doing now is the fear retail, FEARTALE, with a little hyphen in between, fear retail, because everything's based on fear. I hear women saying, this is my favorite one, okay? My favorite thing in the world is when I hear women say, but what if I become submissive and he abuses me? What if I become independent and I get into a situation and I can't leave? What are you talking about? Nightmare on Elm Street? What do you know statistics? The most abused woman in America in relationships are homosexual relationships. Lesbian women have the highest rates of domestic abuse, almost 75%. If heterosexual people had that rate, you'd be crying. There's a lot of stuff that you don't know because the mainstream extreme media doesn't want you to know, because it's not in their best interest. If you don't believe me, somebody please on the computer, just Google rates of abuse for homosexual couples. Just Google it while you're talking. And their rates of abuse is higher. But you're never going to know because it doesn't fit the mantra. It doesn't fit the ideology. It doesn't fit what they're trying to sell you. When you look at divorce has actually dropped by 40% because the people who are making divorce skyrocket, poor people, working class people, people with no college education, people who have children before they get married, those people are slowly fading out of the marriage market. And now Forbes was saying, and the Pew Research was saying, marriage is becoming slowly something for the wealthy and the rich. And they don't want to tell you that because, again, it doesn't fit the mantra. It doesn't fit what they want you to know. It doesn't fit it. The most abused women in America are not married to men, and most of them are not married at all. African American women are only 8% of the female population, yet they account for over 50% of all domestic abuse, yet they're the lowest, least, and hardly married women in America. If marriage was a correlation between abuse and you would see more women getting married, more abuse. But that's not what happens. Traditional households are winning. Traditional marriages, oh my gosh, it wasn't, I'm getting so excited. It wasn't psychology, the American Psychology Review. I wish I could put up links as I'm talking. Can I put up links so you can see? I'm going to try, I don't want to like turn my face because I'm typing and stuff. I'm trying to keep myself there. But they said people that have, and I'm not lying to you, people that have traditional gender roles, heterosexual couples, they have better sex, they have more frequent sex, the men make more money, the women live longer, they have less cognitive impairment, which means you don't get schizophrenia, they live longer, they live into their 80s and their 90s. What happened to all the evilness of men? What happened? I thought men were horrible, but it shows that you live longer with a healthy partner. Keyword healthy. So we should be teaching young men and young women how to have healthy relationships, how to be proactive. Listen, If we can send a satellite to Mars or a helicopter to Mars and control that stuff from an intergalactic, whatever you want to call it, we can use the science and the data, but they don't want you to know this. They don't want you to know that men are not your enemies. They don't want you to know that if you do traditional gender roles, you will have heaven on earth. It's not me saying this. I'm not making this up. I'm also a research-based coach. If you're a fan of me, you know that I love the Census Bureau. You know that I love the Pew Research. You know that I love the CDC. And you might think these things are liberal, but actually, they say a lot of the conservative things. Now, there's a group called there's a not a group, but there's a company called the Gottman Group, Gottman, and they're the top relationship experts in the world. They've been doing relationship from a neuroscience standpoint for over 40 years. These are doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, and they're the best in the world. Even the Gottman Institute said men are responsible for the happiness in the relationship. They are the key variable to success. So when you take that from a man, you don't want him to lead. When you take that from a man and you say no, no, 50-50, when you take that, that's why so many relationships end before they start. And this was actually Dr. Dr. John Gottman, okay? Gottman. He is the Gottman Institute. All right? This is science. This is not his opinion. This is consistent science from thousands of couples. When you have women who want to lead relationships, you have women that want to dominate relationships, you have women that don't care about patriarchy. They see men as the enemy, they see men as the necessary evil. This is highly dysfunctional. And I'm not letting men off the hook who are bad men, who are beta men, who don't respect you, who don't protect you. But again, these men should get no play. You are the guardian. You are the sacred receiver. I want you to take full accountability and empower yourself. If a dog is a dog, who's the fleas on top of him? If somebody is so bad, why isn't it avoidable? Right now, if you go into a restaurant and the food is like trash, okay? The food is absolute trash. Would you keep going back to that restaurant? Would you keep eating at that restaurant? If you went one time, you're like, gosh, the appetizers was cold, the chicken was hard, the food was greasy. I ain't never going back there again. So why do you keep going back to the same types of demographics of men? You need to take accountability. And you need to understand the third wave feminism was not created for you. You need to understand that was created for alternative relationships. That was created to break down support for traditional homes. That whole agenda has a whole different meaning. You are the fuel for the extreme liberal agenda experiment. You are the fuel. And they're watching you die. They're watching you rot. They're watching you waste away. You can't have 80% of black women having kids out of wedlock, only 23%. And I know I can hear the girls right now. It's men's fault. It's the men's fault. Why are they this? Why are they that? Men are so bad. If men are so bad, don't be with them. Take accountability. I was living in New York in the hood. I was living in the Brooklyn and I was working in Manhattan. I had to keep myself all together because if I didn't, I would have had 4 or 5 kids, but I did not want that. I never wanted to be a baby mother. I love children. I adore them, but I only love them and adore them in a marriage. I had to make a very tough decision because there were guys that really liked me and said, Connie, what do you think about having a baby? Or what do you think about moving in together or having a baby? And I could have given in, but I knew that that's a very limited window for me. To all my young girls, okay, if you are 30 and up, please, your 20s are not fun coupons. Your 20s are some of the most important years of your life you will never get back. Now, if you're unlucky like me, living in a liberal town where 3-date sex rule is dominating and you can't enjoy your dating, I understand you. But stop listening to the extreme feminists who are telling you, have fun in your 20s. Don't date in your 20s. You're a beautiful woman in her 20s is worth her weight in gold. It's not all about looks, but youth and vitality and fertility matters. And it's time for someone to tell you the absolute truth. It's the truth. Now, I'm not saying if you're over 30, it's over for you. It's not. But this crazy generation where I see women in their 20s saying, I gotta find myself, I gotta explore myself. Let me tell you something. All that stuff you're looking for, it's not even gonna matter. It's not true. It's just a way for the extreme agenda to keep you. All right, have a good night, Tabitha. It's just a way for the extreme agenda to keep you from being in a traditional family. And they hate it. They really do hate it. And I want to empower you to make the right decisions. If you hear this information and you're like, you know what, I still want to do what I want to do, I respect that. That's what America's about. But I don't believe most women know the facts. And even if you hear the facts, you really can't correlate them into your own life. You don't know what happiness feels like. You don't know what love feels like. You don't know what it is to be able to feel safe and secure with your husband feel like. You don't know what it's like to have a good man. And that's why these things don't resonate with you. They don't seem real to you. You're operating on fear. What if I fail? What if I break up? If you make anything the foundation of fear, would you like your pilot who flies your plane? What if I crash? What if I plunge this straight into the ocean? What if I just close my eyes and slam into a mountain? I mean, who wants to work with anybody that does things out of fear? Imagine you get hired for a job and the person says, you're hired. What if I fail? What if I don't know how to pass the 90-day review? What if I can't do my accounting? What if I can't do this? They'll probably fire you on the spot. Imagine working with somebody who's that negative and that pessimistic. Imagine. Just imagine what it would be like. So I'm not saying to run into things blind and not have, common sense. But if you don't trust the man you're with, don't be with him. Let him go find himself a real woman. If you don't trust the man you're having sex with him, don't have sex with him. Let him go be with somebody else. If you have this much distrust, don't go into the marriage. It's just that simple. You're supposed to trust your husband with your life. The Bible says he's supposed to die for you, sacrifice his body for you, like Christ sacrificed himself. If you don't believe in that, don't be with him. I'm completely boggled by women. Like, I don't know. I just don't understand. Because you could be in a relationship with somebody, have unprotected sex, which is dangerous, give birth to his child, which joins you until either you die or that child die for the rest of your life. And the only thing that makes you worried about your safety is actually submitting to him and depending on him to be there for you. But having unprotected sex is not a risk. Having a baby for someone you're not married to is not a risk. But yet the idea of getting into a healthy, happy marriage and allowing him to be the leader and the head makes you feel like your life is in danger. Exactly. Well, Bella, I can tell you right now, Bella, my beautiful, it's going to be dangerous when 80% of black women are unmarried. It's going to be dangerous when we refuse to do traditional gender roles. We want to work like a man, provide like a man, act like a man, compete like a man. This is why you're dying. It's not just racism. Because I looked at a behavioral scientific study. And like I said, anything I tell you, please look it up. Be like Kermit like a Muppet on that. Please look it up. When I saw that African American women are dying more in childbirth than we were in slavery, that's when I knew something was hella wrong. That is a spiritual curse or something. And that's because we lack any infrastructure. I know it sounds crazy, but when I was reading the article, they said we still, on the slave plantation, they had African doulas. They had women who knew the arts of giving birth and prepping the body. And I know it sounds really horrible, but they saw these women as their financial investments. So they would give them less field work, less outdoor work, because they needed the women to have babies. So you have to question yourself. How is it possible that the last 15 years of slavery, the 1850s, African American women born in slavery were doing better and had a less chance of dying than now? Are we really going to say there was no racism back then? Are we really going to play that game? I can tell you what the problem is. It's extreme feminism. There's no more family structure. And by family, I don't mean just a man. On the slavery plantation, they had the doulas and they had some type of infrastructure. Okay? So I'll be I'll be in the States for, someone just asked me a question, like 3 more days. I leave on the 29th to go back to England to my husband. I was trying to stay longer, but we couldn't change the flight because everything is booked. The medication and all the COVID stuff is booked. But it's just crazy. And this is not bashing women, because I think women are beautiful. I think women mean well. I think it's just sad that so many women are being misguided by women that have trauma issues, women that have mental health issues. And I'm not dissing mental health. I'm an advocate for it. We're being guided by women, some women that hate men, and a lot of women who don't even want to date men, who don't even want to marry men. Okay? Oh, 3 days, yeah. I leave soon. I can't stay longer. My husband wants me home. And he already arranged for everything, so I can't do much. I can't like challenge him on that. I was like, "Can I stay extra?" And he was like, "Connie, you got to take 3 COVID tests. You got to take all this, because when you go back to England, you got to take 3 COVID tests. Like you got to take one day 2, a second one day 8, and before you get on the plane, 3 days before." So my nose is going to be all sore and everything. But anyway, I just want to say that this is supposed to help women, empower women, keep us accountable as women, and understand that the origins of the third wave feminism is not here to serve us. It's very distracting. It's very manipulative. And it's just not something that's going to help us. As a Christian, a real Christian, not jumping down in church and moving your feet real fast, looking like you're SpongeBob or something. I'm talking about the ancient Christian churches that honor motherhood, honor fatherhood, honor the order of submission: God, man, wife, child, home. I'm talking about that stuff because I do believe a big problem, especially in the Black community, is that our churches have turned into concerts. They're not communities. Our churches have turned into entertainment. It's not preaching the gospel. And most of all, it's not giving men instruction. I mean, I have this extreme conservative idea that all these churches should be predominantly filled with men. These churches are like women club. They're like living, talking women book clubs. Men don't want to be there. When you go back to the ancient times with the Pharisees, even some other religions, men and women are separated. And you might say, "Connie, that sounds crazy." We need men to guide men. We need men to coach men. Well, I don't know. Well, Melina, I'll tell you this, Melina, before I go. 'Cause I'm going to go on Facebook now. The basics of feminism wasn't bad. I do think that the work a woman does, at some degree, thank you, Kelly, at some degree was disrespected. Let's be honest. Because even me, I'm not going to lie, I didn't think much of a homemaker. I was into my degree in corporate and working, but I'll be perfectly honest with you. There was a certain need for women to be able to vote, women to be able to own property. Do you know women couldn't have credit cards? That's crazy. Okay? But everything after that don't make sense. Everything after that, okay, don't make sense. Deb is on the job. Because feminism is supposed to support women, but that's not what's happening. It's denying the natural state of women. I hear women say, but I want to work. Working in the home is work. That's why marriages end, because the man still wants you to default to your natural nurturing. His biology calls for it. But when you're working 40, 50 hours a week, you're not you're not even taking care of yourself. And then you come home and you still have to cook, you still have to clean and do laundry and do housework and help the kids take their bath and help the kids get their tutoring and put the kids to bed, make sure they did their homework. You're not even really even being a mom, you're dysfunctional. And then you're too tired to have sex, you're too tired to have good sex. All he does is that missionary marriage, a marriage missionary. And that's what's happening. Because I read a study that said working moms are working over 95 hours a week. Of course they're going to get divorced. That's prison. 95 hours means cooking and cleaning and grocery shopping and dry cleaning and sprucing the yard and preparing dinner, and you're still doing all these things. And that's why you're getting divorced. And somebody just sent me a message. Okay, I'll answer that question. Sent my message on my computer. Okay, I'm going to say this very nicely because even it applies to me too. Part of your job as a woman is to sustain the feminine energy that brought you two together in the first place. Remember in the beginning of your dating, you would take 2 hours to get ready, 3 hours to get ready. Men love feminine women. Now, I'm not going to rate women for 1 to 10 because I don't like that, because everybody's different. You got some men who think Jennifer Aniston's hot. You got some men who think Angelina Jolie's hot. You got some men who think Drew Barrymore is hot and Uma Thurman is hot. You got some people who think Lupita is hot. Everybody's different. Like my husband tells me, you're so beautiful. I'm sure somebody will look at me and be like, she's average. But my husband sees me as a goddess. Let's not go there. But part of your responsibility as a feminine woman is to take care of yourself, take care of your mental health so you can be soft, warm, and nurturing. Take care of your nutrition so you can look good and feel good and be healthy. Take care of your appearance so you can dress nice and take the time you need to feel and look your best. These are big chunks of your day. Perhaps going to the gym, taking a jog. Now, I'm not Halle Berry, but I do as much as I can whenever I can. The gyms being closed did put some pounds on me. I'm not gonna lie. I was in England and we had a severe lockdown. We couldn't even leave our house because we had like supposedly different variants of this stupid. I don't want to say that word too much before they ban the video, but we had so many variants of that thing. And we couldn't even go to the grocery store together. The gyms were closed. In the very beginning, we were only allowed one walk a day. And we couldn't walk further from our house. We couldn't go to a different county. If you were caught driving to get milk 8, 10 miles, they were giving you a ticket. And I understand because, they want to keep the area safe. But do as much as you can. That's part of your feminine. Men care about that. I mean, somebody was saying to me that, you know, women can't be feminine because Bella, yeah. YouTube has great workouts. It does. It does. You can dance to reggae music. You can dance to whatever you want. But the whole point is it's a culture. It's a mindset. Taking care of yourself as a woman, that's you can laugh all you want to, but it's almost like a job. If you're a black woman, it took me like what, 7 hours to for her to braid my hair and braid this in here. Then it might take you 15 minutes to put some makeup on. You got to get some facials, and you got to keep your body nice. You got to smell nice. You got to smell soft. Then you got to make sure you're doing your meditation, doing your yoga, releasing your stress, taking care of you. The better you are for you, the more you can be for your husband. Your husband needs that from you. But unfortunately, we have a society that says that shouldn't matter. None of that should matter. Act like a man, provide like a man, behave like a man, do everything like a man. And I'm telling you right now, it doesn't work. Now, I'm a newlywed, so you might say I don't count, but me and my husband have a traditional marriage. We have gender roles. I'm a housewife, he works. And I can tell you it's the easiest marriage in the world. And I want to keep it this way because we know our gender roles. We know what we're supposed to do. I know what he expects. I know what I expect. And it makes perhaps the best marriage in the world. So I'm telling you, take care of yourself, love yourself, honor yourself, and be feminine. And stop listening to extreme people because they're not happy. Do not allow them to make you part of their scientific experiment because it's this what it is. They're actually tracking to see the damage of the extreme society. If you think I'm joking, anybody can message me. I'm Connie Loren Comer on Facebook. You can find me there, Laws of Enchantress. If you're interested in coaching in my program, you want to learn more. But there's studies that are actually tracking the damage psychologically it's happening to the modern woman. Do not be part of their scientific experiment because that's what you and I and all of us was. It's a scientific experiment. They're actually looking to see how much damage you're taking on as a modern woman. The Institute for Family was the Institutes for the Institute for Family, the Family Institute, which is run by the Pew Research, a secondary branch. They said that this is going to produce the most mentally damaged, psychologically damaged, less productive generation ever in American history, ever. Meaning that this society, as we are in now, is going to be the least healthiest, the most mentally challenged, the least happiest, the least poor, the most poor, and the least productive to American society in history. If you understand the facts, if you understand what's happening, it's going to resonate with you more. And every woman watching this, you deserve to be happy. You deserve to be in love. You deserve to have a good husband. You deserve a happy home. Stop listening to women who are demonizing this. Nothing will make you happier than having a healthy, happy home. Nothing's going to make you happier than having a healthy, happy partner. Not your job, not your degree, not anything else. And I'm not saying these things are bad, but they have science to prove and back up everything I just said. And science also proves traditional gender roles are the best for men and women. The best. It produces healthiest children, good sex life, money. It produces long-lasting marriages. You don't have cognitive impairments. Like I'm telling you the actual scientific truth. You see my laptop is here. You can see the little light and stuff like that. I always use my laptop as I'm talking because I want to make sure I'm giving you the actual fact-based research. Not my opinion, not what I'm thinking, not my interpretation, but word for word, the fact-based opinion. But also, I want you to break it down and think to yourself, you deserve to have a happy relationship. Nobody's talking to you about happiness. You deserve to have a healthy relationship. No one is talking to you about healthiness. You deserve to have a lasting relationship. Okay? So thank you for joining me. I'm Connie Lorraine Comer. I'm the admin for the Laws of Enchantress program. You can find me on Facebook. You can message me, send me a friend request. You can also look up my reviews on Enchantress Coaching. You can also join my free page, the Laws of Enchantress sign up page. Thank you so much, guys. It is late for me. I'm going to try to book my appointment now for COVID. Oop, I don't want to say it. And thank you. Just thank you for being a part of this talk. If you have any questions, let me know. And if you want to share this, please share it. I think it's a great message. And I think it's the right tone. I'm not attacking, but I'm still delivering that truth because I want you to be happy. It's all about you being happy and you feeling good about yourself. All right? Have a good night, guys. Bye bye.